Hey everybody, it's William Nayrod here, the Paradise Guy. Welcome to a very, very important episode, and this is going to be the top 15 rookie mistakes that you don't want to make when you come here to Mexico. You see, there are things that you can come down here and do that are going to make your life more difficult. There are things you can come down here and do that are going to make your life more pleasurable, that your whole experience is going to be enhanced because you do things the right way. So first and foremost on our list today is learning some basic Spanish. Yes, you want to learn basic Spanish phrases, basic Spanish vocabulary. You want to be able to communicate with the cab driver. You want to be able to communicate with the person at the airport. You want to be able to communicate with the person taking your order at the restaurant. I can teach you the 20 most commonly used phrases here in Mexico for a tourist, and I'm happy to send that out to you right now. Hit me up at info@paradiseguy.com. I'll send it out to you right now, and you'll have it, and you can learn that. And when you show up down here, you're gonna be so much more relaxed. You're gonna be so much more chill, and you're gonna be so much more cool. And that's what you wanna be, right?
Our second rookie mistake that you don't want to make, because we have in the past and we don't want you to repeat our errors, is, well, it relates to what we all take for granted usually in Canada or the United States or elsewhere, that when it gets really hot, we turn on the AC, the air conditioning unit, right? Because it's usually affordable, or we don't use it as much. Back in Canada, certainly we don't. Here in Mexico, the cost of electricity is actually quite high if you end up using your units a lot. And it's not just a function of how much you use your unit, it's also a function of how old your unit is, how much it's serviced, the rate that you are paying for your electricity for your CFE bills. You can contact us to learn all about that. And you know, you just gotta know that if you can save on electricity, try to open your windows and let the wind be your friend. All of these things will help. Use it only at night, close your doors, all of that. Because if you're not, you will find out that within a month or 2 months when you get your CFE bill, your price might be really, really high, and you don't want to find out the hard way. Trust me, we have paid very high bills when we went. We didn't use it that much, but we did, or our unit was older, so that's it. Be mindful of your electricity usage when you put on your AC.
Okay, number 3 on our list is that you have to pay attention to leases. You see, if you're gonna come down and spend any period of time here in Mexico, you've got to pay attention to that contract you sign. Yes, it's a lease, it's drawn up, it's usually in Spanish, and it's not there to benefit you. It's there to benefit the landlord. It's there to give them the maximum amount of leverage that they can have to make sure they can keep your deposit, to make sure they can end the lease whenever they feel like ending it, to make sure they can raise your rents, and the list goes on and on. So how do you protect yourself against that? Well, first of all, you make sure that the lease is translated properly to English. Second of all, you make sure that that lease is reviewed by a notary or somebody that has some sort of legal training here in the Mexican market, so that they can translate it for you and make sure that your rights are represented as well as the landlord. Now, does that mean that you're going to be able to negotiate the lease to meet your needs every single time? Well, probably not, because the landlord's going to say, no, you either take the lease as it is or you go and live somewhere else. And that's a reality here, but it doesn't hurt to try to negotiate. It doesn't hurt to try to make sure it's translated so you understand exactly what you're signing. And it doesn't hurt to make sure you're getting some good legal advice. That's an important tip. Write it down, live by it, and your life here in Mexico will be much more enjoyable.
Our next rookie mistake that we don't want you to make is regarding tipping culture. So yeah, what is tipping culture here in Mexico? Well, it really depends on what you want it to be. For Mexicans, generally speaking, from what I understand, it's roughly 10% of your bill. A lot of expats and tourists come in and they do 15, 20, 25. Yeah, that is up to you, but guess what? You want to sort of stick with what the Mexicans are tipping, because you don't want to over-tip and create kind of a false economy. If you keep tipping 25%, 30%, 40% every time because you think you're helping them, what you're doing is raising the bar and the expectations for locals at those restaurants. So you've got to be mindful of that possibility. Also, you want to make sure that your bill does not already have the tip included in it, sometimes also the VAT tax. Yeah, because then you're going to tip on top of that if you don't pay attention. So read your bill, look what they're adding. They're not supposed to technically add that extra amount, but if they do, just pay it the way it is if you're okay with that amount. If you want to add a little extra, that's up to you, but be mindful of these things because you don't want to keep overpaying for the sake of overpaying when you absolutely don't have to. So tip appropriately, don't overtip, and make sure that you know what you're tipping and why.
All right, next on our list is that you have got to pay attention to the local culture, the traditions, the way people do things in the area that you're traveling to. Here in Huatulco, you've got a lot of influences. I mean, you've got the indigenous people that have evolved here in the area. You've got, of course, the Spanish influence. You've got the Mexican influence from all over the country. And you've got the expat, the immigrant influence coming from all over the world. All of that mixed together creates a very unique cultural experience. You got to pay attention to this. You got to make sure that you're being sensitive to it. And not only that, that you're being respectful. So if you'd like to learn more about that, go online, do some research about the Huatulco area before you come here. Look up the history. Look up the evolution of the people in the area. Look up the native dialects. Look up what kind of people have immigrated here over the years. And if you do all of that, you're going to come here with a cultural sensitivity that's going to allow you to be more respectful and more intelligent when it comes to the Huatulco area. So with that, let's move on to our next item.
Next on our list is an item where, you know, it's close to my heart because guess what? I really love street food, and a lot of local people love street food. A lot of tourists and a lot of expats and snowbirds also like street food, but not everybody who comes here knows that there's street food or understands it. And you know what? They miss out. So that is a huge rookie mistake. Not trying your local tlayuda, not trying your local taco or whatever else. There's tons of options and they are beautiful. You can smell the wonderful aromas wafting off from the barbecues that they've got going on every corner. They have the salsas, they have the condiments. They're all handmade and homemade, and you should see the lineups of people who wait for at least 20-30 minutes at a time just to get their like 3 tacos and move on with their day or their evening. There's a reason for that. It tastes darn good, it's authentic, it's real, it's helping the local people, and you know what? It just makes everything feel better in your life. So it's also very, very affordable, and that is a good thing. So if you're not eating local food and you're spending only on fancy restaurants, okay, that's one experience, but you're missing out on the whole experience that is really Huatulco and the food scene. Try the local food. You won't regret it.
Okay, next on our list is that when you're here in Paradise, guess what? You're going to need some cash. Efectivo is what they call it here locally. If you go to the ATM, there's something that they do that is a little bit deceitful, and it's something that will cost you money if you're not careful. When you get your cash out, they're going to ask you, do you want to use our exchange rate, or do you want to use your local bank back in America, back in Canada, back wherever you're from? Do you want to use their exchange rate? I'm telling you, 99% of the time, your exchange rate with your bank is going to be preferable. So when that pops up on the ATM screen, it says, do you want to use our exchange rate? Always select no. And if you do that, you'll save yourself a few bucks every time you get some cash out of the machine.
And our next mistake that you want to not make is, of course, relating to grocery shopping and shopping bags. Yeah, we know that back in Canada, typically in some places in the United States or other places in Europe, you have to bring your own shopping bags. But when you go on vacation, you might not think that that's also the case. If you're renting an Airbnb or in a condo or whatnot, you might think that going to the grocery store, well, you can just use their bags because you're in another country, and that's not true. You really do have to bring your own bags here, or you can buy them. You can buy them at Soriana, you can buy the reusable bags at Chedraui, the 2 major supermarkets that are in Huatulco area. In Soriana, there are no plastic bags available, not even for purchase, so keep that in mind. At Chedraui, yes, but do you really want to do that? It doesn't help the environment, it's not good for anyone. They cost you a little bit of money, not a lot, but you know what? It costs almost nothing to buy a reusable bag, to keep it with you on your vacation. And don't forget to bring your reusable bags to the grocery store with you. I have done that in the past, and I would end up buying more reusable grocery bags, and then we ended up with 50 reusable grocery bags in our home. And well, we have a lot of grocery bags, but don't do that. Bring your own.
Okay, well, everybody, including us, we like to have a beer or a cocktail on the beach. Nothing wrong with that. Heck, if you're on vacation, I actually highly recommend it. But if you're gonna live here, you're gonna stay here for any extended period of time, you gotta make sure that that doesn't become your profession. You see, some people show up here and they don't have a purpose other than relaxation. And many people associate relaxation with drinking. So it's very easy to become what I call a professional drinker. And I put this actually back on an old video that I had in Belize called Rookie Mistakes. It's a very, very popular video. And it's relative here, it's relative there, it's relative anywhere where you don't have a lot of responsibility, you don't have a lot of purpose, you don't have a lot of reason to get out of bed other than to relax and enjoy paradise. And if you do that, it's very easy to drink too much. And of course, that's not going to benefit your long-term health. It's not going to benefit any of your long-term goals. So, tip is, take it easy on the drinking, drink water, drink juice, heck, drink coconut water. It's delicious, it's healthy, it's nutritious, and you know what? Once in a while, have that margarita, have some mezcal, and have a nice cold beer on the beach. We do.
Next on our list, let's talk about cab fares. When you're on vacation or you're away from home, you typically take a taxi to get from A to B or C or D because it's easy, it's convenient, it's cheap, and you don't have to worry about, driving. And cabs here, the good news is, are actually very affordable. They all have standard rates, but guess what? If you don't know those rates, you might find yourself overpaying. So always make sure that you've studied the standard rate card that they do publish in a lot of places, including on the internet, and that you negotiate, if you're going to go for a longer trip, what your going and return fare is going to be, and that you make sure that it's affordable to you and it is competitive. Also, when you're going to certain beaches or places that might be a little bit more far remote, you want to make sure that you have a ride home because, yes, the taxi will take you there for a good price, but there might not be a taxi on that highway back. Yes, this is a mistake that we have made. We thought, okay, we can go to this beach and we'll stand by the side of the road on the way back and we'll find a taxi. And we found ourselves walking for a very long time. Thankfully, each time we did find a good Samaritan to pick us up. Another taxi driver along the way. But you know what? That might not happen. You don't want to be stuck late at night, certainly, with this issue. So, to sum up, you want to make sure you know the rates, and you want to make sure that you always have a going and return guy or girl to take you there and back.
Okay, next on our list of rookie mistakes is not understanding what you see behind me, and that is the ocean. The ocean is unpredictable here. You have riptides, you have undertow, and you have the waves crashing on the shore. I went out in these waves earlier today and I got pummeled. And I've become very, very familiar with this area and the waves and the variations that happen on a day-to-day basis. But today, these waves taught me once again a lesson that I'm trying to pass on to you guys, and that is, don't go out there without a life jacket. Don't go out there with some sort of flotation device. Don't go out there and think that you're going to swim in that, because you're not. Unless, of course, you're an advanced swimmer, unless you have a lot of experience with these waves, unless you have a boogie board or a surfboard. I'm just cautioning you because, you know what? I really hate to hear the news that we hear ever so often that somebody died or somebody almost died because of their interactions with this beautiful ocean. You have to respect the water and don't ever, ever think that you are more powerful than that.
So, when we go on vacation or we travel for long periods of time, we like to make sure that we have everything we need. I know I'm like that. I like to have my clothes. I like to have options for my clothes because, yeah, never know. And also when you're going for a few months at a time, you want to make sure you have all the things that you really, really need or you really like, or you want to make sure that might come in handy, right? And so we pack and we pack and we pack, and it's heavy, and yes, you may pay some extra fees when you're at the airport for all of this, but guess what? You probably don't need to do all that. When you get here, you'll find that you need a bathing suit, you need some flip-flops, you need some really good reef-safe sunscreen, and a bunch of other things that we actually have compiled on a list that we can send you at info@paradiseguide.com. please write us to that email to find out. And you know what? That's really all you need, because you don't want to be on vacation weighed down by your stuff. You're just gonna end up putting it away in a corner. It'll collect dust or possibly bugs and things like that, and not necessary. You want to feel free, so don't pack too much.
Okay, the next rookie mistake, a very, very important one, and that is two things actually: sunscreen and excursions. You see, people come down here with their fair skin, they're used to their climate, maybe it's winter time and they've been inside all year. It doesn't really matter. The sun down here is really, really intense. You gotta cover yourself with some sunscreen, because if you don't, you're gonna get a serious sunburn down here if you're spending time outside, which is what you come here for, to spend time outside. Make sure the sunscreen you buy is reef safe, because you know what, sunscreen has actually been proven to be very harmful to the environment, very harmful to coral reefs, very harmful to the ecosystem. So don't be one of those people that helps that continue. Let's put an end to that. Yes, you need to block the sun a little bit. Yes, you need to minimize the UVB and the UVA rays that you're going to receive, especially if you're light complected. But let's make sure that you're keeping the environment safe. And the next thing I want to cover, of course, is excursions. You see, many people come down here and they don't have a plan for how to get out on that water and enjoy this. They don't have a plan on how they're going to get up into the mountains and enjoy that. They don't have a plan on how they're going to have a mezcal tasting, a food tasting, or going to go see a plantation for coffee, or how to see chocolate being made, etc., etc., etc. If you send us a message at info@paradisesky.com, we will send you a trip planner that's going to help you lay out your plan, your itinerary for all the fun things that you want to do when you're down here. And we're going to make sure you're hooked up with reliable, professional, licensed, permitted providers that are going to give you an amazing experience, guaranteed. So hit us up soon.
Next tip involves, believe it or not, geography. Yeah, you got to know a little bit of the geography of the region. And you know what? A lot of people come here on vacation, they stay in an all-inclusive resort, or they have a vague idea of where things are placed in relation to each other, but they don't really understand the distances, the topography, and all of that. It really makes sense to study a map to really understand, you know, how far Crucecita is in relation to Santa Cruz, or how far the ocean is or this beach is from that beach, and the way to get there might be misleading. It might look like it's off the highway, but it's really not. So you know what? Unless you understand how the maps work here, you're gonna be a little confused when you get here, and that can lead to some problems. You can get really lost, or you can end up in the wrong place at the wrong time. But guess what? Here, if you email us, if you contact us at info@paradisesky.com, we actually have a map prepared for you to help you with all of that. And we would be very, very happy to do so. So please contact us first, and we will set you up.
All right, as the sun dips behind the horizon here tonight, we want to first of all thank you very much for watching ParadiseSky.tv. And second of all, we want to say that we appreciate you watching this video. Of course, this video is going to generate lots and lots of questions. But the final tip that we have for you, the final rookie mistake, is that people show up down here before they contact us. We're here to be a resource for you. We want to help you be successful. We want to help you have fun. We want to help you go on the right excursions. We want to help you save money. So if those things are important to you, contact us right now at info@paradisesky.com. We so appreciate you being a part of ParadiseSky.tv, and we so appreciate you trusting us to give you the information that you need most to have an amazing experience here in the Huatulco area, the Oaxaca coast, the Riviera Maya, and of course, beautiful Belize. So with that, my name is William Naron. As always, I am the Paradise Guy. Let's hear from you soon, and let's see you down here even sooner. Y'all take care. Cheers.